Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Bricks House with Billy Antonio. Fit them old bricks. Ballin' like a with all these bricks. Welcome back, man. Episode 158 of Bricks House with Billy Antonio. 159, excuse me, of Bricks House with Billy Antonio.
Hold on.
I'm waiting.
There we go.
Antonio's not going to be here. It is my nephew Dion's 6th birthday. So happy birthday, Dion. Miss Tonio. It's going to be a good show. We're gonna go over some free agency, some mock drafts. We're gonna cover some baseball. And unlike John Cena, we are not upset with the fans. We don't think we're in a toxic relationship. We're excited about how we're gonna move forward. Chris, you're a quarterback guy. How do you feel about Jamar Chase being the highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL?
Selfishly, as a Cowboys fan, I hate it because once again, Jerry Jones is dragging his fucking feet, and Micah Parsons' price tag continues to increase while we were in perpetual cap hell. But on a non-selfish, not make it about me and my team kind of viewpoint, I mean, if there's anybody that deserves to be the highest paid non-quarterback, Jamar Chase is 1A to probably Justin Jefferson would be my choice to be the highest paid, but he wasn't next up. Jamar was. I'm not mad at it. I think in combination with T. Higgins getting a shitload of money, I think the Bengals aren't exactly building a quality team that can go out and win a chip, but hey, they'll be fun to watch on Sundays.
No, and I think you're right about that. One of my thoughts first goes to the Colts teams, those early 2000s Colts teams that were just spending all over on the offensive side and just trying to piece together that defense. Tony Dungy, that's where the difference comes for me. It was you had Tony Dungy who could help that defense while it being young. You had Tom Moore over there on the offensive side, and I don't think Zach Taylor is close to a Tom Moore, and God forbid he's nowhere near a Tony Dungy. So I don't think this is the way the Bengals are going to do well because you're still okay, Jamar wins the Triple Crown, but it's you guys didn't make the fucking playoffs,
I think the reason I don't want to compare them to the Colts is because the Colts had two guys that were like Trey Hendrickson on the edge, and I'm pretty sure they had three of them for a very small point in time with Mathis, Freeney, and help me out. Who's the other guy?
Monte Rager?
The other end that the Colts had. It's Freeney and Mathis, and then I think when Freeney kind of got old and long in the tooth, they had somebody else. I thought I might be tripping, but regardless, that team was built well enough that it would work. They were built to take a big ass lead, and then they were built to just fuck your quarterback up the whole game. And this Bengals team, they've already they allowed Trey Hendrickson to seek out a trade.
Yeah, but nothing comes to fruition. They keep him.
I don't think they can afford to keep him, especially not with how cheap that team is. All the bad shit we can say about Irsay, he had no issue paying players to keep him around. The Bengals ownership has always been cheap.
Joe Burrow doesn't change your mind a little bit for some of that for the franchise?
I think we saw this version of the team this past year, and they couldn't even make the fucking playoffs. So, no, it doesn't change my mind. They put even more money on offense, and their best defensive player, they've told him he can go out and find another team, and they'll trade him.
Do you think it puts a lot more pressure on Joe Burrow? Maybe we won't be throwing him in these conversations with Mahomes, Allen, Lamar, because he's not making the playoffs?
I think he'll kind of be.
He'll maybe hit Herbert territory.
I don't know. I wouldn't say. I think maybe I wasn't around in the 80s and 90s, so I can't say for sure exactly how Dan Marino was discussed. But whenever I think about Joe Burrow, I feel like that's pretty much what his career is going to be now. He's going to be this highly paid, put up a shitload of stats guy that just doesn't win because he doesn't have the proper team around him that's built to win.
That's fair. Okay, I can see that. Cooper Kupp goes to Seattle, so now they have JSN and Cooper Kupp. They got rid of DK and Tyler Lockett. Do you think that that's going to change a lot of the 12th man's fandom? You think they're excited about that?
I think Cooper Kupp is a big name. I don't think he's necessarily a great receiver at this point in his career. He's gotten slower and slower. The injuries have piled up the last few years. I don't think he's a difference maker. Like if he still had something left to give, I highly doubt the Rams would have let him go. I'm actually shocked that the Seahawks gave him a 3-year deal, and I'm shocked that they gave him almost 15 a year to play those 3 years. I think this will wind up being a move that, like, it sounds good, but in actuality, I don't think he's going to be much of an impact player on the field for the Seahawks.
Real quick, hey, shout out to the two people viewing. Hey, let us know who is winning free agency so far this offseason. But to your point about Cooper Kupp, he just won the Triple Crown 3 years ago. It's not like he's just a total bum. Now, you could say his numbers, if I know you're not a football fantasy guy, but he did have a lot of weird games this year where he wouldn't score anything, and then it would be 22, 21, and then 0, 5, and then 22 again. So maybe some inconsistencies, but you have Puka Nacua, I think that was kind of, I don't want to say messing it up for him, but obviously, like, that's going to be your guy that you're going to go to. And now Devontae Adams, is he going to be okay in LA with how they're going to target Kupp? Because he's not the number one guy still. We think, like, you hear the name and it's like, yeah, but that's not him anymore.
I mean, before I touch on Devontae Adams, just to touch on the Cooper Kupp thing, I don't know if you saw the stat going around, but per ESPN players tracking data ranked on his ability to get open. I don't know exactly what metrics they use to rank this, but I assume, being a big fucking company ran by Mickey Mouse, that it would have, some sort of officialness.
Some smart guy in there to understand.
Yeah. In 2021, when he won the Triple Crown, he was ranked 15th out of 160 in ability to get open, in quotes, is what this thing has here. 2022, he was 71 out of 150. 23, he was 102 out of 153. And this past season, he was 141 out of 159 eligible receivers.
Did Sean McVay do that? Did Sean McVay do that study?
I don't think Sean McVay is in the business of trying to fuck his own players over. He seems like a pretty good stand-up guy.
All right.
Yeah, just, football is we've always known it's a young man's league, and Cooper Kupp isn't exactly the athletic phenom that might be our only other white receiver in football is Adam Thielen. So I don't think he's not going to age quite as gracefully as Thielen has.
Sure.
Yeah, touching on Devontae, we've kind of given, the white folks on this show have given Aaron Rodgers a bit of a pass the last year or so, with his Jets career being what it was, coming off injury and whatnot. The black side of the show has kind of drug him. Probably well-deserved.
It's well-deserved, but when your passing numbers are the same, essentially the same as the MVP, he can't be that bad. He's not just fucking it's not like he's Tua, okay? There's still I
think Devontae going to the Rams, I think will be a major up for him, because all the negative shit we say about Aaron Rodgers, Matt Stafford does not have that. To me, Matt Stafford's probably still, if he's not like in that 4 or 5 range of quarterbacks in the league, he's right on the cusp. I think his only issue is at this point is health. He's getting old. He's taking a lot of fucking hits between that garbage franchise in Detroit. Hi, Matt. Hi, Christian. Prior to the last couple of years, anyway, I want to give y'all some credit, because y'all were bad y'all were bad longer than we were here in Dallas, but y'all finally turned it around. I can only hope that we get there someday. But anyway, that's the only concern I have with the Rams and Stafford. I think Devontae will probably put up his best season since he left Green Bay this season coming up.
No, the Raiders season was not bad. His first year there, I don't think. I think he still had over 100 catches.
He had a down year by Devontae's standards, but a career year for the majority of the rest of the league.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the other side of the ball on the skill set side. Derek Stingley gets a 3-year, $90 million contract, $89 million guaranteed. $89 million guaranteed. And I wanted to bring this up, and Chris, this may hit you where it hurts a little bit, but Micah Parsons was taken in the 2021 draft. Stingley was taken in 2022, and he's already getting his extension. Is Jerry just looking for more headlines? Like, obviously, I think that's an easy fruit, low hanging fruit to say, but is Micah just a bad locker room guy? Is it going to be hard to re-sign him?
Before I touch on the Dallas part, I don't want to what's that phrase? Jump the shark, or how does it go? I don't want to bury the headline here. The headline is absolutely Derek Stingley getting paid.
Yeah,
he's one of the top corners in the league. It's well deserved. I think the guarantees were what you said, they were $89 million.
Yeah,
I think in the pre-show, I think the guarantees are a bit outrageous, and I don't know that I would guarantee a defensive player that kind of money, since they're kind of the ones initiating the contact. They seem to get injured more often than offensive players do. But as far as talent on the field goes, I think he's deserving of the contract. Yeah. Now to get to the question you asked about the Cowboys, Jerry's always had this issue where he always pays players. Let me rewind a little bit. He waits as long as possible before paying the players. The issue with that is, of course, you pay the market rate whenever you sign them.
Yeah.
And when you wait till the very last second, like we've seen it this offseason, there's been 3 players that have become the highest non-paid quarterback in the league just this offseason. Micah was wanting to be the highest non-paid quarterback in the league. If you would have signed him, I don't know, when offseason started, you could have got him for $30 million cheaper than what he's going to wind up going for.
Okay.
But I think what Jerry likes to do, I think it is about the headlines. I think it's about staying in the news, staying in the discussion. We talk about, Jamar Chase getting his deal. Now we got to talk about Micah Parsons, because he's in that discussion. He wants to be the highest non-paid quarterback. So, yeah, we get to talk about Jamar Chase, Myles Garrett, Max Crosby, but we're always pairing up, well, what does this do for Micah Parsons' price tag? And all Jerry sees is talk about me. That's good. That's good. Talking about me, that's good. That's all he cares about. He doesn't run the team like somebody who, I don't know, look at how the Eagles run their team. They pay players on time. They redo contracts and give extensions, like Saquon, for example.
They cut MVP candidates when you feel like, I don't know if this guy's still going to have it.
Yeah. They cut bait. They don't worry about the price tag. Wentz was probably going to win MVP that year before he got injured, and they just let him go. And they got Hurts, and now look at them. Like, they're back constantly competing for
Super Bowl champions in the last 10 years. That's crazy.
It's just, it's frustrating to watch. We see the Commanders get new ownership, and they immediately become a competitive team. They're run well. They take our defensive coordinator. They draft a quarterback. They build a team around them, get a left tackle, get receivers. Yeah. While they're on the rookie contract, they actually do what Jerry Jones has said that he's doing the last 2 years, and they go all in.
Yeah.
And they're probably going to compete for the division this year with the Eagles. They're probably going to compete for the NFC representative in the Super Bowl this year with the Eagles. And the Cowboys are going to be competing with the Giants for a top 5 draft pick. So it's frustrating.
So, hey, we got 5 people listening in. Hey, talk about how much the Cowboys suck, or whatever opinion you want to have about free agency. Let us know in the comments. Shout out to Derek Stingley again for getting that paid. I did, Chris, while you were talking, I did look up a stat. And it's kind of funny because the numbers are a little skewed, but the most injured position in football is offensive line, wide receivers, and then it's linebackers. So I don't know. I don't necessarily agree with your defensive injury stat that you kind of pulled out. But like I said, you got 5 offensive.
It wasn't backed by facts. It was just more like it's what I see. But
no, I got you. That's why I wanted to look it up, because I was like, damn, that's actually a pretty good question. So I thought about it. That's the answer I got. Chris,
sounded good though, didn't it?
Go ahead.
So it sounded good though, didn't it?
No, it did. I believed it. I think that's why I looked it up, because I was like, damn, that sucks. Okay, yeah, hold on. But hey, we're gonna get into a mock draft a little bit, and this is where I really want. I know we only got 5 people in. Hey, this is where I really want some interaction. Let me know where I'm tripping about it. I did my own mock draft for the top 10. Obviously, we're gonna have our the mock draft show coming up before the draft. We're getting closer and closer though, baby. We're edging. It's gonna be in Green Bay this year. I think it's gonna be super fun. But at number 1, Tennessee sitting on the clock. Ben sitting on the clock. There's been a lot of stuff about they'll field some calls for the number 1 pick because you can probably get a buttload, especially in a quarterback draft that isn't great. Obviously, you have 2 guys at the top that I think are going to be really good, but it's not like last year's or what was the other one? 2019, I think, when it was Burrow, Tua, Herbert, those guys. But anyway, at number 1, I think Tennessee goes ahead and gets Cam Ward. I think there's been a lot of Aaron Rodgers talk. But I think if something, again, was to come to fruition, it would have happened by now. Chris, do you think Tennessee would be silly to take a quarterback, or do you think they need to go somewhere else?
I think Tennessee has seen that their quarterback, they tried to run it back again with them this year, and it got them the first overall draft pick. So I think if you believe in either one of these 2 quarterbacks at the top, the second one being Shador, the first one, obviously, as you said, being Cam Ward, I think you got to take your quarterback here and start to build around him. If you don't think either one of these 2 quarterbacks can have you competing for championships over the next decade, then I think you trade the pick if you can't get a bounty for it, or you build a team up around and you take a quarterback in next year's draft. But I don't hate it.
And this is where it always comes into me. I know we just lost 2 viewers, but it's like these great organizations, like being a Ravens fan, obviously we're a well-ran organization. So it's like it's hard for me to understand picking at the top because all I would want to do at this number 1 pick would just be to get the fuck out of it and give me something. I'll go to 7 or whatever, wherever I need to fall back to because I'm going to get that first. I lose 6? I go backward 6 picks. I pick up an extra third, maybe an extra second, depending. I'll get another 6th. Just to kind of put some depth in that. But I think those are more of those well-ran organizations that are going to do those moves as opposed to a Tennessee, a Cleveland. They're just going to take that, whatever they're chomping at the bits for.
I think in general, trading back is always, unless you're 1 player away, I think trading back and building up a bounty of picks to continuously build up your roster and get trade chips for the future, even if the players you draft you don't think are going to be long-term starters for you can do them for more picks, like constantly cycling through and building your team up to where when you are a player away, then you can take that pick.
No, 100%. And I think it's kind of a weird spot when we're going to number 2 now with Cleveland, CLE 216. Cleveland has to take Abdul Carter here. I think you got Jalen Milrose sitting back there, Jackson Dart. You're going to pick 34th. It's not like you can't go get you a quarterback that you like. Kirk Cousins is still out there. Aaron Rodgers is still there. I don't know if he's going to play for Cleveland. That Deshaun contract is crazy, but I get it. But it was just like I said last week. I think you get a quarterback on a rookie deal. It doesn't matter how much you're paying Deshaun Watson because you have a quarterback. So you just roll right into where you need to pay. You got Myles Garrett that's going to be there. The defense is not bad. They beat the Bengals. They beat the Ravens this year. They beat good teams. And I think Kevin Stefanski is a great coach. Do you think they need to go quarterback here?
I mean, I don't think this team is a quarterback away, and I don't think, assuming Ward goes 1, I don't think Shador is going to be a guy that can elevate this team to a playoff team at its current roster construction. I think taking the best pass rusher in the draft isn't a terrible idea because hypothetically you're going to get your quarterback in round 2, as you alluded to. If not, you're going to be drafting up here again next year and you'll have your quarterback then. And then you have, hopefully if it pans out, you'll have an extremely good pass rush for years to come.
That's where my mind was kind of at. At number 3, and this is where I really, really sat with this for a second. And it sounds silly that I sat with it because I'm just going to say the Giants at 3 take Shador here. Shador's alluded to it. It's been that's been like one of the more consensus-y picks. I've seen a lot more mock drafts more frequently the last couple of weeks, days, whatever. have Shedeur really dropping, and I wonder if it's just the Giants trying to fill where are they going to be at with that third pick? Because like I said, then you're going to pick 35th in the next round. Like you can go get you another offensive tackle with how deep this draft is. You can go get an edge rusher again with how deep the edge rush part of the draft is. Malik Neighbors needs somebody to get him the rock. You can't just have that guy on the side and just being like waste his career like a DeAndre Hopkins and just draft a Deshaun a little too late in his career. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think the problem with the Giants, of course, they're drafting this high was quarterback play last year.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a situation like it is in Tennessee where their roster's terrible. I think they have some pretty solid pieces throughout the roster.
They got better coaching too, right, Chris?
Yeah, we're big Dayball fans on this show. We like the bald whites. The only thing that I'm kind of toying with is like how impatient is the ownership group there, because they've had to deal with losing seasons for, I mean, shit, it seems like most of the past decade, pretty much since Eli's last year, it seems like they've mostly been under 500 and not really competitive.
Sure.
Outside of what Saquon's rookie year, maybe. So I wonder if maybe they're going to be the team.
They were still terrible. They still only won 5 games.
Oh, that's right. He just had an electric year. Yeah. So I wonder if they're gonna try to sign Aaron Rodgers and then maybe pair Travis Hunter up there.
Okay.
That's the only thing that would give me some kind of pause as far as them drafting Shedeur. If they're not going to go after Aaron, then I think Shedeur would be the pick there.
Okay. I like that. And then at number 4, I think this one's obvious. If he's sitting at 4, you're taking Travis Hunter. If I'm New England, no weapons. Defense was actually in the top 8 last year, so it's not like they were giving up 40 a game. Now they had, I think it was one really bad game against the Bills, and another one was it Detroit. I think it was another NFC team that just mollywopped them. But and having Mike Vrabel come now, I think the defense is going to be solid.
Yeah, I'm not worried about their defense.
They spent a lot of money on, C+, B- guys. And I think a lot of Tonio was alluding to it last week where it's just like, okay, who the fuck are these? But it's like Mike Vrabel makes them B+, A-. That's where it's going to come out, I think.
They grabbed a bunch of shit out of the markdown section and paid full price for it. Don't understand their offseason a whole lot. I definitely think they need to get a weapon here.
You're telling me you never got the chicken thighs because they were going to expire the next day and you were just going to make dinner with chicken thighs the next night? Come on.
Moving on. I definitely think they need a weapon here. The Patriots' main issue dating back to when I was the only one that said Bill Belichick would get fired during the regular season that he eventually wound up getting fired in.
He didn't get fired during the regular season.
Shoulder.
He played.
No, but I said during the regular season that he was going to get fired. That's my
okay.
So I'm just gonna, break my shoulder, pat myself on the back there.
I like it.
They've struggled with offensive weapons that entire time from then to now. It's the only weapon that they've really had the last decade has been Gronk. Like that's been it.
Yeah,
it's been a bunch of people that look like me and you that were out there attempting to catch passes and Gronk, and that's been it. They can't sign anybody in free agency for some reason that seems to work on the offensive weapons side of the ball. Yeah. Talking receivers, tight end, running back, all of them. Anybody that they sign fucking sucks as soon as they step off the jet in New England. I think if Shedeur's there, it's a fucking no-doubter. And if Shedeur's not there, then – or my bad, not Shedeur, Hunter. Okay. The other Colorado standout, if he's there, it's an absolutely no-doubter. If he's not there, you either take another weapon or you trade down a few picks and take a weapon later in the draft. But they need some talent on that offensive side of the ball, especially if you think Drake May is going to be your quarterback of the future. You got to give him some help so you know what you got before you have to give him that fifth-year option and eventual contract.
Yeah. And like I said last week, I think Drake May's the guy. I think the Patriots win 10 games this year. I think it's going to be – the Patriots aren't in a bad spot, especially the team. Yeah, they're picking 3, but I think it's one of those things or they're picking 4. I think it's one of those things where your record doesn't indicate your team, if that makes sense. I don't know if you're one of those guys that kind of follow that, or if you're nope, that's your record, you fucking suck.
I mean, I'm not from the Herm Edwards camp of you are what your record says you are. Was that Parcells that said that? I feel like it was Herm Edwards that said that. It might have been Parcells though.
Herm said a bunch of stuff, so it could be him.
I just assume if it's a dope NFL quote, it came from Herm.
Yeah.
I don't subscribe to that. Yeah, I don't subscribe to it. I think a lot goes into winning and losing outside of the quarterback, but I think you can have a pretty decent roster and just a couple things go bad, a couple things go wrong, and you just wind up in this spot in the draft.
Sure.
I think the Patriots just have nobody to throw the ball to, and their offense looks I don't know. I feel like our Cedar Hill High School offense is back in the championship days where we're a little bit more effective than this Patriots offense. So,
Chris, you are not wrong. Joe McGuire, shout out to Joe McGuire real quick too. Has the number 1 transfer portal in all of college football. No big deal. But number 5, Jacksonville. I think they're going to go Will Campbell here. I think you got to take a tackle. Maybe they get the guy from Texas. What's his name, Chris? I can't.
Kelvin Banks.
Yes, I think that injury might kind of bring him down a little bit, just because it was so late. I wonder if someone wants to take not a chance, but it's one of those weird things, you know. Excuse me. So I think they go Will Campbell. If he can't play tackle, he's an obvious guard. That would definitely secure a little bit of that inside for T. Larry, because he has had a not very great career. He was supposed to be the next Dan Marino, and he has not been that. So I think Jacksonville has to go off the line here. You think maybe they take a weapon?
I'm going to be honest, Billy. I don't think it matters what the fuck Jacksonville takes. I think they're the worst ran franchise in North American professional sports. But sure, if they want to take a tackle, go for it.
You think Jacksonville's the worst ran franchise?
I think they're pathetic.
They were in the playoffs.
When's the last time? Okay.
They won a playoff game.
Everybody in the NFL has been in the playoffs in like the last 6 years. Like, that's the nature of the NFL. When was the last time Jacksonville actually had a good squad? Like, you'd have to go back to when Freddie T was running the ball and Keenan.
They were in the AFC title game in 2017, 2018. Sorry, John.
Whatever the fuck it is, they shouldn't have been there. I mean, that's like Tennessee was in the title game that one fucking year that nobody can remember the team because it was not a great team. Like, what was that we just said about the Patriots? Like, your record doesn't dictate how good your team is or whatever. I mean, Jacksonville hasn't been good in 20 fucking years.
That's a little true. They had those fucking whack-ass double-colored helmets. Ugh, I don't even start on those.
I don't think it matters who they draft. I'm sorry to say it, Billy. I don't think Trevor Lawrence is the guy. I think he's definitely a Jag. He's just a guy. That's about it.
Shout out to Steve Smith. Senior, excuse me. I know he gets upset how you call him. But I think that's where they have to go. Brian Thomas is a great piece. I think he's great. I don't know if you know who that is or know that how great he is as a receiver. But I could also maybe see them going Tyler Warren here just to kind of add something for T. Larry, just to, like you said, they've been poorly ran forever. So just to kind of give him something. And then at 6, I got Oakland, or not Oakland, fucking.
They need to give him some talent.
No.
Not around him. They need to give himself some talent. Because it seems like he left
Was
it
he
all
a
at
monster of
Clemson.
football and fucking. Is that what
he needs to go back to Clemson so he can figure out why he was good again.
So Oakland, Vegas at number 6 is going to take Mason Graham.
They're just dead naming every fucking team this week.
I think, dude, that's an old people thing. I remember when my dad used to do it, and I would just be like, dude, pay attention. Like, what are you doing? And now I'm like, nah, I get it.
How long did it take you to call the Rams the LA Rams and not the St. Louis Rams?
I still do it to this day. And you know what's crazy with the so when Washington became the football team, I was able to fucking rip that off quick. As soon as they were the Commanders, I just kept calling them the Redskins for some reason. Yeah. I don't know why That's like how the verbiage works in my brain. I don't know what happened.
This football team is like, that's a fairly unique, like, this fucking team's called the football team, and Commanders is just like, that's a generic team nickname.
Yeah, that's your fucking move the franchise team on Madden. That's where it's just that's what we gotta call them.
That's what it auto populates to, and you just let me speed through this. I want to get to the draft.
Man, I remember on Madden, I used to always make for some reason I like the bats. Like the bat logo on Madden is like 05 was like super cool to me.
I always did the Crocs.
The Crocs were because the Crocs had two. You had like two alligators, right?
Yeah, I had the one that was like where it was coming out of the water or some shit and it had its mouth open. You could see the teeth. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That was mine right there. Anyway, back to Vegas.
Yeah, sorry. They're gonna go hey, I know we got 3 people in. We really appreciate you guys listening in. Hey, what's the best Madden creative team that you made back in the day? Not the newer Maddens where it's all dumb, but the old ones where you could literally pick whatever you wanted. They go Mason Graham here, man. I think it's one of those quote unquote can't miss prospects. I think he's the second best player in the draft. I would earn not second best player, excuse me, the third best player in the draft. Goes all the way to 6. I think that's who you take. I think Pete Carroll, after they signed Max Crosby, you get him some help on the interior. Imagine trying to double team Max, and then here comes fucking Mason Graham, and you're like, what the fuck are we supposed to do with this? And then Max Crosby just gets another, 15, 20 sack season. So I think that's where they go. Where if you're Oakland, where do you want to go, Chris?
Oh man, if I'm Oakland, I would want to go the sexy pick and take Shedeur here.
Ooh, yeah.
I think his personality it fits so fucking well with Oakland. I think that's the type of player that Pete Carroll loves, like just his whole mentality. But I think the coach and Pete Carroll wants to take defense, so I don't think you're off on that pick. I also think, like I mentioned this, I think it was last week or week before last, that they need a culture change. And to me, as much as I don't want to say shit on, as much as I don't give defense the credit that it probably should get, I think building a team on the defensive side of the ball is the best way to elevate your floor. I don't think it's the best way to win championships. I think you can't go the Bengals route and just have fucking walk-on college seniors being your entire NFL defense. That's not going to work. You gotta have some talent on defense, but I think going the route of the Steelers where you just build up a great defense and you just throw whoever the fuck out there on offense is kind of the way to always be at least respectable.
Sure.
And I think that's what the Raiders need now to kind of rebuild that culture and become a team worth discussing again. And I think taking a Mason Graham is a great way to do that. I don't think it's a great way for them to go out and compete for the division every year.
Sure.
But I think it's a great way for them to compete for being 500, which is what this franchise, I feel, desperately needs.
Do you think, because I've seen a lot of mocks with Ashton Genty going here, would you be okay with that if you're a Raider fan?
I wouldn't take a running back in the top 15 of a draft ever.
Expand.
Who's going to block for the guy? I think we discussed this within the last month too. I don't remember which exact episode, but like the top running backs in the league are on good teams, but in my opinion, they're not the top running backs, if that makes sense. Like just because you have a shitload of yards because you're on a great team with a good quarterback and a good O-line doesn't mean you're necessarily the best running back per se.
Sure.
And I think as good as Genty is and as good as I think most people that watch football think he will be, I don't think him going to Oakland is going to be any sort of difference maker. He can go out there and run for 1,400 yards.
It's Saquon in New York, right? Where it's like, this guy is amazing, but what are we doing?
Yeah, Ashton Genty had another 100-yard game as the Raiders lose 33-12. Like, who cares?
12 carries for 106 yards, but we had to throw the ball for the whole last half.
It's pointless to me. Good teams generally build their offensive line up, and once you have a great offensive line, you can throw any fucking guy back there and give the ball to him, and he's going to look competent. I don't think you need to spend draft capital this high to get a running back.
Look at Algier fucking 2 years ago. I think it's crazy his almost fall off a cliff-esque career where he had fucking 1,300 yards, and then it's just like, well, let's get Bijan. And it's like, why? What?
Yeah.
We're fine. What are we doing? Excuse me. So next at 7, the Jets. Seen a lot of mocks with Shadur here, but I have Shadur going 3. So I think the Jets take Will Johnson. I think last year he would have been a can't-miss prospect, but this year it was kind of a down year for Michigan. Some teams were able to throw the ball a little bit on him. He had some great picks, though. Not on him, on them. Let me rephrase how I said that. On Michigan, not necessarily Will Johnson. The Jets lose DJ Reed, and I think they just pick up Will Johnson, just throw him right in there with Sauce on the other side. And I think Aaron Glenn's really going to settle this franchise down a little bit just to be like, hey, he's probably going to do what Rex Ryan did when he took over the Jets, and everybody's like, the Jets, and then back-to-back AFC title games.
Yeah, I think the only thing preventing the Jets from being the worst run organization in North American sports is the previously aforementioned Jaguars. I think this team is, from ownership especially down, is a bit of a clusterfuck, and I don't necessarily blame that on the people in the organization. I think Woody Johnson is a fucking clown.
Yeah.
He's got his son talking to players like, come on, dude.
Crazy.
So similar to the Jaguars, I really don't think it matters what the fuck they do. I think they're just predestined to suck as long as Woody Johnson is at the helm. I do think from a football standpoint, when you're going to be losing every fucking game you play, I think trying to slow down the bleeding by having what would hopefully be 2 great corners, you can kind of keep the game close. But I mean, as a draft pick, it's not a bad pick, but I just don't think it's going to really be impactful.
No, and I'm with you on that. I think that's one of the I always talk to Tonio about this, where I love the draft because it's these dudes who their whole life has been to get to this moment, and that's where they get. But looking at it from a projective standpoint of like, well, what are you guys going to be doing in 3 years? And it's like, oh, you're going to be on the Jets. That fucking sucks. But here's this kid achieving his dream, and then here's my old bald ass on the couch like, let's see what the Jets do. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just kind of comes down to one of those.
You get drafted and you're all wide-eyed like Micah Parsons after you've been in the league for 10 years. You start acting like DeMarcus Lawrence. So that's just the way it goes.
If he didn't have a podcast, I wonder if that'll help Micah out. If he just didn't, he's talking after you lost.
He's still all wide-eyed and bushy-tailed and thinks the Cowboys are the best team in the fucking league, and they're just they're right there with the Chiefs. If that didn't get injured, we would have got him.
I don't know. I love me some blind optimism. Just outrageous. All right, man. I got at 8. Here's Carolina. This is one of my first like kind of shocker picks, but I think Tyler Warren goes this high. I think with how Brock Bowers was in Oakland, how Brock Bowers was in Vegas this year, I think a lot of teams are going to see that. And Tyler Warren is definitely that guy. I think he's going to be similar to a Brock Bowers. Really, I think the point is going to be to help. Oh my God, I just lost his name. Bryce Young. I think that's really going to be the point, and I think that's where Carolina goes with Tyler Warren here. Would you go anywhere else?
Sweet Caroline. I think Carolina. I don't think weapon is necessarily bad, but I think I would probably want to go line here.
Okay.
I think that the fuck was it? You just said Bryce Young. I think he was running for his life most of last year. So I think kind of getting him a guy that can stabilize that offensive line, I think would help him a lot more at this point than a safety blanket that he would never be able to cover himself up with because he doesn't have time to stand still. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like he needs some big dudes up front that can, help him complete a fucking drop back and then step up before he just 2 steps. Oh shit,
Well, you don't want to go too big. It's still Bryce Young back there. You want to like a medium.
Yeah, give me like a good if you can find a 5'11", 400-pound left tackle, that'd be perfect for Bryce Young. He'd be able to see over him if he got up on his tippy toes at that point.
There we go. That's what it's about. Just seeing over him, But But I just think Tyler Warren really opens up a little bit of the offense. Maybe Bryce Young's running for his life, but here's Tyler Warren, also hitting an out route. Just hit me on the side,
Yeah.
At number 9, New Orleans. This is one of my more harder picks. I think I kind of went a safe route. Once we get closer to our real mock draft, Chris, that you're going to actually have to participate in. So I need you to get a little bit get a little bit more familiar. Now, I didn't. New Orleans is in such a just weird spot to me. I think I went safe, and I'm going Shamir Stewart from Texas A&M. He's a guard tackle. He's played tackle, but he mainly played guard. I think New Orleans you can't go wrong. I think getting offensive line in the draft. See what you got. Just let's fucking, what is it? Throw shit at a wall. See what sticks. Just fucking let's make sure we're doing it, because I just don't know if you're New Orleans where you're gonna go. Maybe go corner here, but is there another corner that you want to spend your 9th pick on, where you can maybe go get one in the 3rd round? This was probably my worst one, just because I'm not in enough New Orleans stuff to see what they really need.
Where did they debut on Billy's Best last year? Didn't you have them as the number 1 team after 2 weeks? Pretty sure they were in the top 5 after they beat the dog shit out of the Panthers and then out of us
and then the Cowboys. It was week 3. It wasn't 2. It was after the Cowboys, because I thought the Cowboys were better too.
Yeah. Boy, how much things changed after that, Billy. Goddamn. Well, they started out looking like the best offense in the league, just fucking unstoppable. And then they got stopped. The whole rest of the year they got stopped. They couldn't do shit. They looked pathetic. I'm with you. When in doubt, take an offensive lineman. You can never go wrong building through the trenches.
Sure.
But when I think about their team, I don't think of anything that's glaring that necessarily stands out. It just feels like they got a collection of guys, and outside of Kamara, they're all just below average NFL players.
Olave gets hurt a lot. He would be so great. Rashid Haid. Sorry, John. Really fast on the outside. We got 4 people listening. Hey, what should the Saints do? Help us out, because this is my one pick. I was like, I don't really know. What should the Saints do? Now, at 10, Chicago, right? I liked Chicago last year. I thought they were going to do well. Tonio, obviously a big-time Caleb Williams hater. Caleb Williams did not play bad this year. It wasn't really on him. You could say it was the coach. I still don't really think it was Eberflus. I think Eberflus has I think if he gets on a defensive side of the ball, he'll be really great. Maybe not ready for that head coaching job just yet. But Chicago's going to go Mikael Williams from Georgia, the pass rusher here, just to add to that defense in Chicago. That's not bad. People are acting like Chicago is just on fire, and it's really not. We just had, I think, way higher expectations than they should have had. If you remember, they picked 10th last year also, and that was
Rome, I believe it was.
Yeah, that was Rome, right? And I don't think they go another wide receiver, another Madden. In fact, I've started my franchise with Chicago Bears, and I'm just crushing people. So, and I think I took a defensive end in the draft also. But if you're Chicago, do you want another offensive line? What are you looking for, Chris?
They made some great moves in the offseason already. Shoring up that interior offensive line. They signed Drew Dahlman, who was probably the top center on the market. They got Joe Thuney, who was is he one of the top 2, top 3 guards in all of football?
If not the top, yeah.
And then they got Jonah Jackson from the Rams, another solid quality starter. So the interior of the O-line is great. I think at this point, which was the major problem to me that Caleb Williams had last year, he was another one that was kind of running for his life, it felt like, most of the year.
Yeah.
I feel like I would probably want to go tackle if there's one here that's worth picking.
Yeah.
Just to continue to make sure that O-line is not a problem. And again, you can see if the hype is really true with Caleb Williams and he is all he was hyped up to be. But I mean, I wouldn't be mad at a D-line pick, just going back to what we said with the Saints, like building through the interior. I'm never going to be upset about taking interior, whether it's on offense or defense.
Well, that was the mock draft. We're 45 minutes in. I just want to do a top 10 just to kind of give us some other things to talk about. NBA is kind of dead for right now. It's just really in that weird playoff push. The West from 2 to 5 to 6 about is kind of that's where we're going to kind of ruffle the feathers. I did, Chris. I did have an NBA I wanted to cover. If you can bear with me for a second. The Warriors, since they've added Jimmy Butler, are 14-1. I think they are a scary, scary team for any other team in the West.
I think we've kind of seen this every time Jimmy gets traded and goes to a new team. He kind of elevates I don't even know if I want to say standards, but it feels like the Warriors have always had high standards with this current core. But it seems like he elevates something every team that he goes to, and then he winds up getting pissed off after 2 or 3 years for whatever reason. He's a perennial malcontent.
Yeah.
So it'll be great this year. It'll probably be good next year, and then it'll start going downhill. He'll be like, "Fuck this team. I'm not showing up to practice. I'm not getting on team flights and all that." But I think for this year and probably next year, it's a great move for the Warriors. It reinvigorated them for sure. I think come playoff time, when Jimmy turns it up and becomes the third best player in basketball, I think that'll be pretty fucking fun to watch.
No, I'm with you. Jimmy's asking, "Where's my Rachel Nichols interview? What are we doing?" But I just think that's a really scary team that no one's really talking about. Not that no one's talking about, excuse me, that I wanted to talk about on the show. Also, real quick, I want to do this after the mock draft, but I remember the NBA thing. The NCAA football game, right? College football 2025 paid the players $600 for every player that was going to opt into the game, right? The next year for 2026 is going to be $1,500. And I don't know, I'm not like a stocks guy or anything like that, so I don't know enough, but I wonder if this is a trajectory that's about to just kind of keep going until we get to about the Madden player for the NFL, the Madden checks for the players. Excuse me. So now maybe you have some dudes I'm not saying staying on the team because they're getting an NCAA check, but with the NIL, I wonder if you got dudes sticking around just to make that NIL money.
I don't necessarily see that happening because I don't think the dollar amount is ever going to get high. Let me rewind a little. I think for the top players, the NIL money is going to be similar to an NFL contract.
Right.
But I don't think the video game necessarily is going to have shit to do with that. It's going to be basically their endorsements.
No. So my comparison was going to be the lower guys sticking around instead of trying out for the draft. We're like, all right, you have a good season or whatever. Like, go ahead and go to the draft. But I wonder if it's like how much higher it gets that it makes those lower tier guys stick around, which in turn makes the higher up guys stick around for those big NIL deals. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, if you're referring specifically to the game checks that they might get, game being video game, not like game day checks. I don't know that the video game checks will ever approach what it is for Madden, just because Madden is 32 teams with 55 guys on the roster, and college football is like 900,000 teams with 800 players on the roster. Like, I think there's a ceiling there just from basic economics.
Sure. That's a good point. That's why I wanted to throw it out there, because I just wasn't, like I said, I wasn't like thinking about any of that stuff. I do think the revenue share with where does it go for some of these cats with I've been drinking a little bit. Where does the revenue share with some of these cats go from that standpoint, where not only are you getting the NCAA game or whatever, that Big Ten revenue share, does it go towards those lower tier players to keep those 2-3-star guys on your roster to just fucking keep them around? But Chris, let's talk some baseball on the show. We had an opening day, allegedly. I'm not calling it opening day until they come to America, because that's silly. But Go ahead. What are your thoughts so far, and why are you even thinking about baseball? Because it doesn't matter because the Dodgers are going to win.
So opening day started, if you're listening to this live, it started yesterday in Japan at 5 a.m. in the morning. If you're listening to this on podcast, it started 2 days ago. If you're listening to it the day it drops anyway.
Yeah.
It went about as you would expect it. The Dodgers looked fucking incredible. And I mean, Freddie Freeman wasn't in the lineup. Mookie Betts wasn't in the lineup. They had like the whole bottom half of their lineup was all their, guys. And even their guys are pretty fucking good. In game one, they really in both games, they worked the shit out of the pitchers to the point where I think in game one they had like 7 walks and they had quite a few in game two as well. Like the Dodgers the way that they built that team is fucking incredible. All of those guys have pretty damn near elite level eyes. They foul off pitches constantly. They battle deep into counts. They wear down your pitchers, and they eventually get a good pitch to hit. Like, most at bats, you might get one good pitch to hit, but when you're getting 10 pitch at bats because you're fouling every fucking pitch off, you're eventually going to get a good pitch to hit, and that's what the Dodgers do better than anybody in baseball. And then you factor in just the sheer amount of talent that they have throughout that roster. Like, I don't know, man. I'm excited for this upcoming baseball season, but it does feel a bit inevitable that it's going to be the Dodgers representing the National League in the World Series and probably sweeping whatever team comes out of the American League. Yeah. But it was fun to finally see some baseball again.
I'm with you. I'm like I said, I'm waiting till opening day in America to kind of really watch.
March 27th, by the way, March 27th.
Yep. I will. Let me give a real quick shout out. I purchased the Ohtani ones. I got them. They look phenomenal. They feel phenomenal. Now, I did find out they are baseball shoes, like to play baseball in. They're not just shoes. I was very unaware of that. When I purchased,
you bought a pair of cleats,
so they're not. So they're not cleats. They're, I guess, for like if you're in, like if you're at Tampa Bay or whatever, like it's for those. It's not cleats.
Okay.
like it's a baseball shoe. I'll explain it more whenever we get offline because it'll take forever. Because I had to look it up. Like why are they like this? Like, but anyway. Go get you the Ohtani ones, $119 at Dick's right now. Bought them, got them in 2 days. Totally worth it. Very comfortable. They're New Balance-y enough to where I feel like a dad, but it's still, you can call them the Ohtani ones. So, made me feel pretty good about that.
You gonna mow your yard in them, Billy? Not
a chance. No.
I
haven't made it. Look, man. When you're a dad,
they're not dad shoes then.
No. Look, listen. And this is going to be free game for all the upcoming dads out there. Now, if you're a dad, you don't just. I cannot stand you if you take pictures in the fucking hospital with Nike Monarchs, your New Balance 54s. You're not there yet. Just because you are a dad who breeded with a person does not give you Nike Monarch status. You gotta work yourself up to those. Me personally, I had, when my kids were from newborn to about 3-4 years old, I had a pair of white Vans because I'm a scene kid, right? So I had a pair of white Vans that I did my yard work in. Now I have another pair of white shoes. They're Under Armour shoes. They're basketball shoes for Under Armour. Those are my yard work shoes now. You don't just get the Monarchs. You got to get yourself into those. Now, the New Balances, I feel like, are for grandpas, or at least your kids are older in high school. That's where you can't just go straight to Monarchs. You got to learn some stuff. You got to figure out how you're a dad. Do you even do dad jokes yet? No, because you're not at the Monarch dad level. So just that was just some free game for everybody listening. Chris, what baseball team is going to surprise us this year? Obviously, no one else is winning the World Series except the Dodgers. Where is your surprise? Now, you could have a surprise for who's going to go way further than we think, and I want one way lower than we think.
I wasn't expecting this to come up, so let me just pull up the MLB over-unders. The Dodgers are at 103.5. I would take the over on that. Let's see. They got. Hold on. Is this? Oh, this isn't ranked by league. So the top 4 teams by over-unders are coming out of the NL. Dodgers, Braves, Phillies, and Mets are all over-under 90.5 or higher. So that's interesting. The Yankees at 89.5. I think with all the injuries that the Yankees have, I think they're going to struggle to hit 500. And I don't think they've been under 500 since towards the end of the Don Mattingly years. So that would have been early 90s. I could be wrong on that. I'll look it up whenever Billy starts talking again and I'm done giving my surprise picks. The Rangers are an 85.5, and I think really they just got destroyed by injuries last year. I think if the team stays healthy this year, I think Evan Carter can have a bounce back. Wyatt Langford can have a breakout. Jake Berger comes to Texas, a better lineup. I think he could be a sneaky 40 home run threat.
Yeah.
I think the Rangers can be a top 5 team in baseball this year. What's up?
You're talking about Jake Berger can hit 40 home runs.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he's a sneaky option for 40 home runs this year. I don't know if that would be one of those surprise picks, but I think the Rangers have a shot of having the best record in the American League. I think let's see, where's the surprise? Do I have any surprises? The Nationals over-under is 72.5. I think I guess without thinking about it too hard, I think the Nationals could sneak into a wild card spot. They've got a ton of young talent, and if James Wood turns into a top hitter in baseball, like his prospect pedigree would dictate, they got Dylan Cruz as well, Luis Garcia. Believe they got Robert Hassel III as well in the farm system. Maybe come up later in the year and contribute. I think the Nationals are a sneaky bet to kind of sneak in to the last wild card spot for the National League. Aside from that, there's not. I think it's going to go about as we expect. I think the Tigers are going to be pretty dog shit this year. Sorry, Matt. Sorry, Christian. They got the best pitcher in the American League and not much else on that team. They're just they're about a 500 team. Who is Tonio's team? Is he a Braves fan? Is that his team? What baseball team does Tonio represent?
I don't want to speak for him because I don't know enough.
Yeah, I don't either.
Let me just say, I think the Tigers are going to be better than you think, Chris. I think towards the end of the year last year, they kind of had that weird middle season, end of the year run, and then just kind of fell off again. But I think the Tigers, not to kiss Matt's ass or anything. I hope he's watching just to hear me actually talk well about his team.
He finally said something in the group chat for the first time in 3 months.
No, that was also crazy to see. But I was gonna say, I think too, the Cardinals. So hear me out on the Cardinals pick. I'm not saying they're gonna fucking take over the league or anything. But I think that's such a well-ran organization, even in their down years. I think this year, where they're kind of having who's that prospect? Oh my God.
The Cardinal Mason Wynn, I believe, will be starting the year, and then Victor Scott might wind up winning the outfield spot.
Yes, I think Victor Scott's gonna put them in a good position. St. Louis, because I follow them on Twitter. They're a great Twitter follow, by the way. If you guys are on Twitter or X, follow them. They're fun. One of the most fun organizationally people to follow.
I'll never follow them. They beat us in was it 2011 in the World Series?
No, that's
Fuck
Nelson
the Cardinals.
Cruz's fault. I'll never put that on the Cardinals.
Fuck
That's
Nelson Cruz
Nelson
too.
Cruz's bum ass. Fucking what a piece of shit Nelson Cruz is. And then he leaves the next year just to be a bitch. Sorry for going off the rails. But
Hate him.
oh, what a then David Freeze's punk ass 5'6", punk ass shortstop. Sorry, hold on. I was so heartbroken. Golly, that's crazy. Like, why are you bringing that up, Chris? We're World Series champions.
Because you're out here giving positive words of affirmation to the Cardinals. Fuck that franchise. Fuck Missouri.
It's kind of like the Steelers, right? Like I hate them. Great ran. They're ran phenomenally. I'm not silly to that fact. No, can't do it, Chris. You just can't do it.
No.
I just
Fuck
saw
the Cardinals
in your face, just like no.
Fuck the Cardinals and fuck the Giants. You want to know who my favorite National League team is? The Diamondbacks. Why? Because we whip their ass. All right. Fuck the Cardinals. Fuck the Giants.
God. The Giants won. I'm not gonna. They just outplayed us and just
they beat the dog shit out of us.
Yeah. The Cardinals. We should have won. That just doesn't make any sense. We're gonna go off on a tangent, Chris. Let's do this. Let's do something else fun for baseball. Who is the home run derby champion of 2025?
Oh, home run derby champion. I don't.
Nope, Chris. It's for the fans. It's not just for baseball.
I don't even know who the fuck is gonna be in the home run derby. Like that's not something.
Shit, man. That's why it's fun to make the pick.
Oh, for fuck's sake. I guess I'll go Ellie.
Guy. That's literally what you just sounded like.
Give me Ellie De La Cruz, I guess.
There we go.
One of the most exciting players in baseball to watch. The way he hits the ball and the way the ball comes off the bat when he hits it, just so fucking pretty. One of the fastest players in the game. He's such a fun watch.
Are you a small ball guy? Do you like small ball or do you want the home runs?
I don't want baseball to be what it was like 3 to 8 years ago, where it's just all walks, strikeouts, and home runs. But I don't want to go back to like the 1900s and the 1910s before Babe Ruth started smacking the ball out of the park, where it's, here's a 2-0 game that was won in 47 innings. Like, I don't give me some base runners, move them over with get an out on the right side of the infield, get the runner from second to third, bring him home on a sac fly. Like, don't fucking bunt a runner over and give me a suicide squeeze. I don't want to see none of that stupid shit. But yeah, I don't want to see every hit in a ball game is a home run. I'm not really into that, dude. I want base runners. I want action. I want to see shit happening.
So I will say, my nene, that's my grandma. She has made me the Rangers fan I am today. She says Cruz will never live that down. No, nene, he will not. No,
goddamn right.
He will never. He is a bum. What's crazy? Like, Chris, okay, you know what? Let's take the show in a different direction, Chris, because we've only been on for an hour. We got about 20 minutes, maybe 15. Chris, who is, out of every athlete ever, insert whoever you want, the most hated guy to you? Is it Nelson Cruz?
Oh, are you talking my personal fandom or like for Dallas sports fans in general?
Would they be different for you if you could go outside of Dallas?
For me, no. I think for me personally, it would definitely be Nelson Cruz, because as much as I love watching football, like I mentioned this, I think the episode after the Rangers won the World Series, like baseball was my first love.
Yeah.
I cried live on this fucking podcast. I think in the 8th inning when there was I think Ketel Marte flew out to center, and it was finally like hitting me like, holy shit, we're about to fucking win it. And then when Sabores got the strikeout, like I fucking stood up like this for like a solid 5 minutes on the fucking show with just tears running down my face. Like, so for me to know that shit could have happened 12 years ago, and like I still remember the night vividly. Like my dad and I were sitting on the couch in the apartment that we had in Garland. We were going to go up to Dick's Sporting Goods and get some World Series swag after the Rangers got the final out. And then fucking Natali Feliz is on the mound with, I don't know if it was dip or gum or if he hung his tongue out on his bottom lip the whole fucking game. But he was sitting there, and then he should have had the final out like 3 different times. And the only one that I remember vividly is the Cruz one, because I think that's the one that brought the run home.
Yep.
That wound up winning the game for St. Louis. And then in game 7, I don't even remember how game 7 went, but I'm pretty sure we just got our ass beat.
Yep. We were down 2-0 in the 2nd inning. and it didn't matter. Like we were not doing anything. Michael Young had like 4 strikeouts. Josh Hamilton had like, I think he had a single or something, and it was just like, this is just, it's crazy, dude. You said like, I was at my friend Mitchell's house. Shout out to Mitchell Broussard. Whenever you watch, it was crazy. I've never been to his house, and it was Game 6, and that's what we were watching. And I was just sitting in his dad's recliner, this really nice, really fantastic leather brown recliner, and just remember watching, just like, fuck this, we're not gonna win this. Like, I just remember thinking like, it's over. This is not good, because Neftali had that fucking chaw right here. He was just, dude. Oh man, what a.
And I think another reason why that shit really sticks out for me is like my grandpa never got to see the Rangers win a World Series.
Yeah,
he passed a couple of years before we finally got it. And if that would have happened 10, 12 years ago, he would have got to see that. So
yeah,
I mean, that's another reason why. Like, Cruz will never be able to hold that down for me. I think we talked about that the following week after they won the World Series. Like, can we finally let it go? Can we finally forgive Nelson Cruz? Fuck no. Fuck him for life.
Fuck no.
I'll never forgive him. He cost me a World Series. Fuck him.
100%.
Can't do it. Can't do it. He can be a great guy. You know, he can save cats from burning buildings. Fuck him.
Fuck him. I don't care.
Don't like him. Never will.
No. All right. Let's bring it out to the rest of any sport, anywhere. Most hated guy. You just hate him for. Do you even know why?
I don't. I mean, D Wade is the only one that I would say is comparable. Just for the back when I was a Mavericks fan for that finals against us, where it feels like we pretty much won the finals, and then D Wade's just going to the free throws 50 fucking times a game. Like, okay, this is fucking cool.
Yeah, this is why
that's the only
free throws, 1 point at a time.
That's the only other one that that even pops into my head. Like, football wise, I can't say that there's anybody that I really hate. Like, I don't like Jerry Jones, but he hasn't done anything on the field to where it's like, fuck, we could have won if you would have done this. Like, as far as the Dez catch, like, that was more a referees thing and an NFL rule thing at the time, so can't get mad at anybody there.
Sure.
The Tony Romo bot snap on the I don't even remember if it was a field goal or a PAT against the Seahawks, and I think 07.
Damn,
like,
was it PAT?
I don't remember if it was a PAT or a field goal, but I can't really hate Tony for that, because I don't like, as much as I shit on Tony when he was playing, like, I respected him when his career was done. But I've always been a bit of a cynical Cowboys fan, so it's like any bad thing that happens, I'm immediately going to call him shit, you know?
Yeah.
But, I mean, I feel like Romo was consistently I don't know if I would say he was ever in the top 5, but he was in that 5 to 10 range. He was somebody that I felt was good enough to get us to the championship with, given if he had a good team around him and whatnot.
It was a field goal, by the way. It was a field goal to win the game with 1:15 left.
Yeah.
20-21. Dallas would have been 23-21. We were, what's crazy about that snap? Me and my dad, we were at Cheddar's. I think it was Cheddar's. My mom and my sister might have been with us, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. Because if it was me and my dad, we would have been at Hooters. Me and my dad were at Hooters for the Deshaun Jackson throwdown before he got into the end zone. Oh, man, that was a great time, too. But I remember being at the restaurant and my dad being like, so upset, just so upset, and I'm just like looking at this grown man. 06, what was I? 12? What were you? 12? Yeah, and just being like, what's fucking wrong with this guy? Nene says her most hated person is Ben Roethlisberger. Nene, I'm with you. Fuck him too. Yeah, Michael Vick. Nene, you got to chill on Michael Vick. He
served this time. I think the reason it's Nelson is because that one, you're taught in Little League, from fucking Little League, when you first start playing baseball. The first step you take on a fly ball is back.
Just
you take a step back, read the ball, and then you go field the fucking ball. And if you look at where the ball was, like, this was a fieldable ball that would have won the fucking game and thus winning the World Series. And he fucking took like 4 full sprint steps forward. Then he's like, oh shit.
And what's crazy is he still could have made the catch.
Up, and he missed it. Like, oh my God.
Oh,
So that's why it's so hated for me, because most of the time, like, it's usually a variety of things that lead up to a game being won or lost. But this is, I feel, a moment where you could put it: you catch the ball, the Rangers win, the World Series champions.
yep.
Like,
Nene
at
did
that point,
also
there's
say,
no other play.
Nene did also throw in, I cried and was sick for 4 days. If I didn't have school, Nene, I would have also been sick for 4 days. Maybe if I was grown, I would have called in.
Yeah, wasn't a fun experience. That was brutal. The only other athlete that I can say that I have any real disdain for would probably be Chris Weidman, because I was a massive Anderson Silva fan,
Yeah.
and Weidman was the first one that beat him in the UFC. So that sucked to see.
Yeah. Was that worse than his leg breaking?
I mean, oh fuck, I don't know, man. It's weird with fighting, because fighting is similar to how Cooper Kupp's career gone, where it's just once that decline hits, it's a fucking, it's straight down.
Yeah,
So it's
dude.
like,
Ronda
even if
Rousey,
Silva
Conor
wouldn't have
McGregor.
shattered his leg, like, I don't know. I think he was 38, I want to say, when he finally lost. Like, at that point, he's probably just done, whether he snaps his leg or not. But it was just
Yeah,
kind
probably.
of, you either retire on top, or to steal the Joker. I think it's Joker. To kind of steal it and adjust it, you either retire on top or you live long enough to see yourself become a bum. And that's kind of what Silva became.
No, man, that's Spider-Man where it's
Oh, is it Spider-Man?
wait. No, I might be tripping because Spider-Man is, despite of
No,
everything.
that was Harvey Dent. Wasn't that Harvey Dent that said that, I think, in the
Harvey
Batman
Dent.
movie?
Yeah, no, that was Harvey Dent. Okay. Not
Yeah, you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become a villain. So
Bingo.
in sports, it's you either retire on top or you live long enough to see yourself become a guy.
Oof.
And whenever, with us, when we're diehard sports fans, you got a player that you loved watching growing up, and in the case of like Seager and Adolis Garcia, brought us joy as sports fans for our respective teams. Like, seeing Seager, when his eventual end of his career comes and he's hitting 210 with 3 home runs, and he can't fucking take 3 steps in the infield without falling apart, like, it's gonna be hard to watch, but
It's gonna be hard to watch, but Chris, we're gonna remember the fuck. Come on,
you got a ring.
Come
Yep.
on. Hey, real fast. So Nana asked one more question. This will end the show with. Your thoughts on Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame now? Now that he's dead, they're gonna allow him in the Hall of Fame. How do you feel about that?
I don't know that they will allow him in the Hall of Fame even now, because I think that I'll first say I think he should be in the Hall of Fame. He's the all-time hit king, regardless of.
It's not even close.
Yeah, I mean, I think Ty Cobb has like 4,000 and fucking something, but yeah, he didn't play when black people played, so he doesn't exist in the record books. I think Pete Rose is 4,192.
No,
if I'm remembering right off the top of my head. Is that not right?
I don't think so.
My bad. 4,256.
There it is. Yeah.
Oh, my bad. 4,192 is Ty Cobb. I knew I had that number for a reason.
Okay, there it is.
So yeah, nobody else has over 5,000. And all of Pete Rose's betting, I believe, as I understand it, came when he was a manager.
Betting on his team to win.
Yeah, as he stated numerous times, he only bet on his team to win because he believed in his guys. I mean, I understand rules are rules, and you broke the rules, you got to do your punishment or whatever. But
if you're betting on your team to win, fuck that. I think everyone should be allowed to bet on their own team to win. Now, if you're betting for your team to lose, that's when you get bad. If you're saying you're going to win,
that's when you're shoeless Joe Jackson, and you throw a World Series and fuck you in the whole 1917 White Sox. But don't want to get into that. Back to Pete Rose. He's a Hall of Famer. He should be a Hall of Famer, and I hope that in passing he will eventually get to become a Hall of Famer. I think my concern is with how much betting is getting involved in sports these days. Every fucking game is brought to you by this sports book, and this replay is brought to you by this other sports book. And stick around for the fucking DraftKings post show with our fucking BetMGM player of the game. Like, it's all fucking gambling in every single step of the way. So I think in a way, like, being lenient to a player who's probably at this point more known for his gambling than his greatness on the field which is saying something because, again, all-time leader in hits.
Yep.
I think that would kind of hurt MLB a little bit to where, if they start bringing down the punishment on these other guys and maybe gambling in the future, well, look what you did for Pete Rose. I'm also a little concerned, too, with how these Baseball Hall of Fame voters are, to where he would be on the Veterans Committee at this point. Do they vote him in? Because for whatever reason, the Hall of Fame voters have a real sticking spot for people who are considered off-the-field problem guys, like behavioral guys. Yeah. And with Pete Rose's gambling, that would be considered an off-the-field character issue. And I just question whether or not they would actually induct him.
Yeah, I'm actually on your side on that. I think that was where I was thinking. I thought they were going to let him in because of the Veterans Committee. That's where I was misspoken. Same with you. Just let him in. I don't understand. What's the point? Boo, where's Tonio? From Tonio. Hey, you could have been like, Tonio, I love you. I love you so much. Tonio, who's your baseball team while you're watching? If you're still in here.
I'm sorry, Tonio. We were doing like the what the fuck is that department? We were getting rid of all the DEI representation on the show, like the Department of Defense did with Jackie Robinson's military history or whatever. I'm sorry, Tonio.
No, Chris, nope.
Hey, I haven't got us canceled yet on this episode, man. I got a reputation to uphold.
We're playing characters. The views of this show are not the true views of us as people and the other stuff.
Just cracking jokes. Miss you, Tonio. Had a pretty solid show, even though you weren't here.
Now, Chris, it is the Braves. You were right, Chris. I thought it was the Braves too. I just didn't want to say that. And Chris, you are the DEI hire. We had to get another white. Thank you, Tonio. I'm proud of you guys. What a fucking angel. Chris, I asked you on the pre-show, and I'm going to ask you on live because I know you can't come back with anything. John Cena gave the best promo in the last 20 years, at least the last 25 years. The best promo of all time, obviously, Austin 3:16 said, "I just whipped your ass." Number one, easy. That's fine. Number two is John Cena. You get
talk
nothing.
About your Psalms. Talk about your John 3:16. Austin 3:16 says, "I just whipped your ass."
Very good. That's number one. Number two is you get nothing. John Cena. Easy.
That was a great line. I don't know, man. I feel like some of the Punk promos when him and Cena were feuding in the early 2010s. I mean, the pipe bomb promo, like, come on. That's an all-time great promo where Punk is sitting on the top of the stage in a Stone Cold Steve Austin shirt doing a fucking pipe bomb promo. You got a Joey Styles shoot promo where he, quit Raw or whatever and went off on Jerry the King Lawler and Vince. You got Paul Heyman's promo against Vince during the invasion angle where he fucking eviscerated him.
Sure.
Great promo. If you haven't heard it, great promo.
No, it is a great promo with you.
I mean, I feel like we're kind of hyping the Cena promo up because he's been a good guy damn near his entire career. Like when he first came up, he was a bad guy, sure. But for the last 23 years at this point, he's been Super Cena.
Yeah.
And we've always known him as the white meat babyface do-gooder, So I think for that, it's more like it's a shock. It's the first promo that he's done as a bad guy in almost a quarter century. So
100%.
That in and of itself, I feel, is going to elevate. He could have came out there and just said, "Screw you guys, I'm going home." He could have done that, and it would have been, everybody would have went ape shit.
Yeah.
I think what Cena does probably better than just about anybody is the way he interacts with the crowd. The way that he went out there and he let that crowd boo the dog shit out of him for what felt like 10 minutes.
Dude,
left and came back. He had him eating out of the palm of his hand, which is what an elite performer does, and that's what he is. But I think, like, verbiage wise, I wouldn't necessarily call that one that I'm gonna remember in 5-10 years from now. I think that "you get nothing," like, that's a great fucking line.
Yeah.
That's a great exclamation point to what he said during that whole phrasing where he was like, "Not gonna change my song because that's me on the song, not gonna change my clothes because you wear my clothes, I don't wear yours," like whatever the specific verbiage was.
Yeah.
Ending it with the "you get nothing," like, that was great. I'm not gonna say that was great. But I think the rest of it felt like it went long, like the actual talking part, not the entire segment, because the first half of the segment where it was just crowd interaction was great. But I think the actual talking portion of the segment, I don't know. I feel like Cena's done better promos. I feel like the stuff that he had during his feud with The Rock was better than what he did Monday night.
Yeah, maybe. But it's been a great show. We miss Tonio. I'm glad you came in for some comments. I'm glad you got to see the baseball talk. I'm glad that you're a Braves fan. Been a great show, Chris. Appreciate you being on. Next week we'll probably cover some more NBA because we're getting closer to playoff time. We'll also do kind of a bracket breakdown. We did a bracket challenge last year, but this year, excuse me. But this year we're gonna kind of it's just kind of for right now. But like I said, let us know in the comments what we missed, what we should have talked about more. I know we had a lot of fans a couple weeks ago talking about WWE. It's crazy that we got it on this episode.
That's because Tonio wasn't here.
Well, it's also a down week in sports.
That's true.
But it's been a great show, man. We really appreciate you guys. Like I said, leave us a comment. Let us know how we did and what you guys want to see next week, man. Appreciate it.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Brick Shots with Billy Antonio.
For 50 more bricks. Ballin' like a with all these bricks.